Hi, this is Lucid and this is the second part to Cripes, Which Video Editor? And this one covers what video editor is best for the web and web broadcasting. Before I delve into the various editors to find which one is best for the web, what I need to do is to find the common reference, which is the platform. They all ran on this Asus ET2300, and as you can see, the various editors are in there and the game anime trailer being played across there. So all used the same platform. So why the Asus? Well, the Asus uses the i7 CPU. Now the i7 has 4 cores. Each core has 2 threads. Now a thread is also known as a logical CPU. So we have 8 logical CPUs. For those video editors that only use the logical CPUs, I want to see the actual balance of the load across all 8 CPUs. So that's known as software rendering. Now for those that use hardware accelerator, they have a choice. There is the HD 4000 or QuickSync 4, and I want them to use that if they can. And if they don't use the HD 4000, they have the option to use a GPU because some think the GPU is better. And I have the Asus has a NVIDIA GT 630M graphics device which it can use. So the Asus offers an ideal platform where I can gauge which is the best form of rendering. Is it software rendering, or is it more efficient to use the HD 4000 and prove the principle of locality, which basically means because the graphics device is on the chip it should be faster, or will the GPU be the rising star? But the point of all of this is to find which one actually is efficient in doing the rendering and producing the product. I want it to be able to use the batteries or the power supply of the device and not require something silly like being powered by the Earth's core just to be able to get the job done. And you might think I'm joking. Now I did a benchmark, and the benchmark is not staggering, but it's also not too bad. The green bars represent the Asus, and where they are the longest, it's all in the right places. The CPU mark, the graphics mark, the GPU mark, the memory mark. So all those particular areas, it's okay. So therefore this platform is ideal for video editing and rendering. The first video editor I'm going to look at is Media Composer from Avid, and it's classed as a professional or serious editor. Its installation is, well, diabolical. It's so long. It takes a long time to actually install, and it doesn't uninstall properly. And in addition, it didn't pass the actual web broadcasting requirements that I set. Now you can find out more about these requirements if you go to my website, which is mediapreneur.scibiztech.com, or watch the first part of this 2-part video. But at the end of the day, it failed my web requirements and therefore it didn't go any further. This is Nero 2014 from Nero GmbH, which means it's a German company. Now I liked a lot about this application. I liked its interface, I liked how to use it, but the thing is, or I believe a sad thing about this, is I couldn't really test it against the web requirements because they put locks on nearly everything. Now if you're going to advertise something for the web or for streaming, then the very thing to stream is MPEG-4. You should be able to use it, and you couldn't. So sadly I couldn't really test this. So my verdict is not that if it can or cannot pass, it's that I just couldn't test it. This is the Windows version of AvidMux, and it's really targeted for the Linux users, and it's from the Open Software Forum. I did like certain aspects of this application, but its workflows were a little difficult to really use properly, and it didn't pass my web requirements. And sadly it doesn't actually enter the HRD data, so it's not really proofread, but at least I could test it, so I'll give it for that. But it didn't really go very far, and it isn't something I would recommend for web broadcasting. Certainly if you just want to make your videos on your machine, that's okay. And surprisingly, this is Movie Maker from Microsoft, and the reason why I'm chortling is because of what happened with it. It's not a serious NLE or video editor. It's something you give to your kids to use to experiment with. It did fail my web broadcasting requirements, but what is amazing about this application, it's 1 mean renderer. It actually rendered the game anime in something like 50 odd minutes. So on one side it's just too simple to be serious, and on the other side it shows that it can do serious rendering. It just can't make anything good out of it. The next editor is AVS Video Editor from AVS. I can understand why some people will go or be attracted to this video editor because it does look nice. It's got a stylish interface and it's got some nice little widgets. But when it came to actually doing the presets for the MPEG-4 file, I found it somewhat wanting and also a bit cumbersome. And then it's awkward when you want to do things like picture-in-picture. So as far as that side of the aspect, it did fail my web requirements, but it also is a little bit inefficient and it also is awkward to use. And this is VideoPad from NCH Software. Now this is one software which is like swings and roundabouts. There are things you'll like and there are things you will not like. I didn't like the interface. It was too bright because long-term usage you'd need sunglasses. It's just too bright. But it could handle the game anime, loading it into the timeline. It was very quick, it was very nice, but it failed the web requirements. And also when I analyzed it through the, as you can see, the performance, it was very poor. Its rendering performance is not good, and doing picture-in-picture again was very awkward with this application, so it didn't pass because of those things. What you see before you is TrackAxe PC version 4 from High Andes Limited. Now what I don't understand is why this is not classed as a NLE. It's a very good editor. It's fun to use, it's bright, it's easy on the eye. Yes, it did fail my web requirements, but when I reported the errors to their technical support, they were on it very quickly and have offered me to do their beta testing because they want to do the fixes. Now I would class this as a selfie app, or for those who want to be social media moguls, because this is easy to use and it's quite powerful. This is PowerDirector version 12 Ultra Edition from Cyberlink. Now what I'm going to say up front is, as far as the editor is concerned, this is a very good editor, but as far as rendering is concerned, not so good. If you use the software only option, it uses the Apple compressor and fails dismally. If you use the quick sync, the only thing it fails on is the actual container not being stream format. But then it blitzed through the game anime in 47 minutes, the fastest of them all. So it makes it so annoying that it failed the web requirements. And this is Movie Studio version 13, the Platinum Edition from Sony Creative Studios. It was the most difficult application to install and I didn't really get any help from technical support at all. But I did manage to get it to work and I did load the game anime, and the outcome was 9 hours in, 75% done. I called it a day. So I did get it to build a biometric scanner test and it just failed the web requirements. That's all I'm going to say there. As far as the editor itself, it's a bit dated, but it has powerful tools. At the end of the day, I would not recommend this for web broadcasting. What we're now looking at is MoviePlus X6 from Serif. Now it did fail my web requirements. I sent the test results to their technical support. They got back in a reasonable fashion and their solution is that X7 will have the fixes. Now if X7 also has the innovative task management, the clean interface and the powerful tools that come with X6, then this is going to be an editor to look out for, because this is a very powerful, cost-effective editor, good for the serious and the selfie. I liked it. And this is Vegas Pro version 13, the Platinum Edition from Sony Creative Studios, and like Movie Studio it was difficult to install. It's also very slow to launch, in fact very slow, and like Movie Studio I found the interface dated and a bit dark. It also failed in exactly the same area as did Movie Studio. The difference being is I could build the game anime with this product, which is a bit of a puzzle for me. But overall this is supposed to be a professional product for professionals, and I found it a bit wanting when it comes to web broadcasting and the MPEG-4 format. And this has to be Premiere Pro Creative Cloud Edition from Adobe. Now, from the editing aspect, I can understand why so many people like this product, because it's very powerful, even though it's a bit heavy on the resources and slow to launch. But it failed the web requirements, and it failed it in a way it shouldn't have done, because Adobe sat on the H.264 standards committee. This actually says 100% done, then 40 minutes later it finishes the IOPS or IO operations, and that is bad. So it's a very poor renderer, a brilliant editor, but a very poor renderer, and it failed the web requirements. That's not good for a professional product. And this is Premiere Elements version 12, again from Adobe. I love this application. I can see great potential in this application, especially the web DVD and the way it starts. It's suited for the target audience and more. But it also failed the actual web requirements, and in the same area as did Premiere Pro, which is very annoying because I do like this app. I did try to get hold of technical support. It's more like incognito support. Their reliance on the forum is just shameful. This is a powerful tool that requires professional support, as does its professional product. Video Studio X7, the Ultimate Edition from Corel. Now I'll come clean, I have got Corel Video Studio X5 and X6, so I had a reasonable understanding of this application, but it is a bit slow on the launch. Other than that, it's an editor you like to use. But when it comes to the rendering side, it only passes if you've got the hardware acceleration on. Now that means that unless you've got an i7 or HD 4000, this is not going to pass. It will fail, and the rendering process is not as good as it could be, or as good as the editor is. This is Movie Edit Pro 2014, the premium edition from Magix GmbH, another German company. This is a very powerful editor. It has all the power that you want from the editing side, and it has a very powerful rendering process. Initially this failed to make the game anime or render the game anime, but technical support did an upgrade and released it 1 month after I raised the issue. Didn't quite fix, but the powerful side of the rendering enabled me to do the fine-tuning to do a fix. 2015 offers a permanent fix, which is very nice to see. So this is a well-balanced editor for web broadcasting. This is Edius Pro version 7 from Grass Valley. Now, I'd never heard of Grass Valley or Edius Pro until I found it through Wikipedia, and I'm glad I did, because this is one powerful editor. Now, my start wasn't too good because it uses the word print, not render or export, but print. That being said, it made the game anime, and it basically tamed it. It made it in a quality that the others didn't come close to. That's 12 meg data rate it made this at, and it did it in 54 minutes. So this is a powerful editor, a powerful renderer. I can see why professionals like it and use it. This is Lightworks version 12 from Edit Share. Now version 12 does pass my game anime test, but version 11 does not. In fact, it was version 11 that I raised the issue to their technical support, and they fixed it. And what an editor you have here. It's the most innovative of all the editors you'll come across. It's very powerful, it's easy to use, but I do say that the rendering is a bit too primitive. You can't tweak it enough for a professional product. But it is without doubt the most lovely editor I've ever used. I did like it, and I have brought it. And this concludes the testing of video editors that run on Windows, or NLE editors that run on Windows. I'm not going to reiterate the facts that are being written out here, because you can read them and stop the video and also read the interesting facts of stream format. And you might want to question, why did I do so much on the web broadcasting? Given YouTube and given how popular it is, and given that I've only given 1 million consumers here, you might see it from the energy point of view as the only issue, but there are other reasons as well. Only 3 passed the test, and of those 3, 2 required technical support. On top of that, an interesting pattern that I noticed was the ones that used the HD 4000 of the i7, which is there, it's for free, actually did the best. And On top of that, when you look at the fact that the GPU was not efficient, there are a lot of people who think having the great graphics engine for rendering is required. It's not. It's good for making the graphics okay, but not for rendering. With that being stated, which one is the best video editor? Well, you might be surprised to find that I didn't pick one because one doesn't fit all the scenarios that you would be in. If you're in a team, a professional environment, then I would pick Edius Pro. Without doubt, this is the most economical and powerful video editor. It's only €300 and you've got a professional editor that you know will deliver. On the other hand, Lightworks is a nice cost model. It has a brilliant free cost model. It's called free for anything up to HD 720p, but it's also a very powerful editor and it's innovative and a joy to use, as is Movie Edit Pro. Movie Edit Pro was one of the few that could render using GPU, QuickSync, or just software rendering, which is why it became the best baseline for all the others to be tested against. But it's also a very powerful editor, and in both the cases of Magic's Movie Edit Pro and EditShare's Lightworks, technical support actually fixed this because of their passion of the product, which is why it becomes even better to buy, because you know you've got that support. So these are the three best editors for web broadcasting. This is Lucid signing out.